We are now about 1 month out from the big Lobby Day rally that the Virginia Citizens Defense League is planning in Richmond, and the Democrats in the Capitol are officially running scared. For those of you new to what's happening in Virginia, please check out my other 3 videos on the topic. I'll even pop them into a little playlist for you in the description. Long story short, Bloomberg dumped a couple $1 million in Virginia ahead of the state elections, helping Democrats to take over both chambers of the state government under Democratic Governor Ralph Northam. Ahead of the 2020 session, they've pre-filed over 200 bills, with about a dozen or so related to firearms. The biggest and baddest bills are a 1 gun a month limit, a red flag law, an assault weapons ban featuring registration and confiscation of literally everything but bolt and lever action rifles, and a bill that would ban paramilitary activity redefined as training, marching, or rallying with guns so long as someone interprets it as intimidating.
Oh, I'm so scared.
About 90% of the state's counties and cities have declared themselves as Second Amendment sanctuaries, to which the state government responded by A, threatening to bring in the National Guard, and B, filing another bill that would strip the sheriffs and police of sanctuary counties of their offices and basically make them unemployable for the next year.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
As many of you well know, the Virginia Citizens Defense League is planning a huge rally, which they call Lobby Day, on January 20th. The goal of the rally is to fill the General Assembly building in support of the Second Amendment. Now, this business about banning people from rallying with guns hasn't passed yet, and Virginia is one of the few states that allows people to open carry into the Capitol complex. Naturally, legislators are trying to change that ahead of the January rally. First, this video today is brought to you by USCCA, and it's a good day to mention them with everything going on. For those not familiar, the United States Concealed Carry Association provides legal and financial protection for gun owners who find themselves in a self-defense situation. Once you've saved yourself and your family from the short-term threat, their goal is to save you from the long-term threat. They offer 24/7 support and have a whole network of attorneys to choose from. To get hooked up with USCCA, you can text DOLL to 87222 or visit the link in the description. A new piece just came out of the Virginia Mercury in which the incoming House of Delegates Speaker, Eileen Fillercorn, revealed that they're talking about a gun ban for Capitol Square. Being that the new session begins January 8th, almost 2 weeks before the planned rally, it's entirely possible that they could succeed. Especially when lawmakers tell the paper they're planning an immediate ban. Because, you see, Senator Adam Ebbin of Alexandria has pre-filed a bill to ban guns and other weapons in the square. Traditionally, if it passed, the bill wouldn't come into effect until July. But both Ebbin and Fillercorn told the Mercury that legislators are now considering an immediate ban, which they say is absolutely legal under General Assembly rules and would be their first order of business in the new session. Similar bills were introduced in the past, but were always shot down by the predominantly Republican legislature. Being that they're not in charge anymore, it might very well pass, especially given how it seems the new Democrats in town are trying to stop gun owners at every avenue. The VCDL has encouraged protesters and gun owners not to bring any long guns to the event, as they say it would be a distraction from their message. The group wrote in an email, "VCDL's important messages inevitably get lost as the press rushes to get pictures of anyone carrying an AR or AK. The stories then become about the rifle, not VCDL's agenda." Optics versus function, I guess, depending on your goal and how the situation unfolds before then. Average, everyday citizens shouldn't be afraid of gun owners, but governments absolutely should. Case in point, when the state government held a special summer session on guns, pro-gun protesters showed up wearing military garb and carrying rifles, which made some lawmakers feel unsafe. Now, to prevent that, they want to turn Capitol Square into a gun-free zone, because we all know that gun-free zones are absolute bastions of safety. My safe space! Nevertheless, the VCDL does have a point about the media liking to hijack the narrative and make it about those crazy, violent gun owners marching with their big, scary guns, rather than the actual issues at hand. A spokesman for Everytown for Gun Safety has already complained to local news that this whole thing is really just a ploy of dangerous gun owners to destroy the democratic process and defy the Constitution in order to create dangerous chaos. The spokesman flat out warned that sanctuary resolutions could somehow stop people from preventing the suicide of a loved one or will prevent law enforcement from stopping mass shooters. Okay. The Virginia AG has also released his official opinion on sanctuary counties after Delegate Jay Jones wrote him a letter warning that the state was heading towards civil war if legislators didn't get a handle on the situation now. Unsurprisingly, despite a history of refusing to support laws he doesn't agree with, the AG's 4-page opinion can be summed up as, when the General Assembly passes new gun safety laws, they will be enforced and they will be followed. These resolutions have no legal force and they're just part of an effort by the gun lobby to stoke fear. His final statement concluded that localities don't have the power to nullify state law, which isn't wrong exactly. Virginia abides by the Dillon Rule, which is an 1868 decision determining that local governments only have 3 powers: those granted in express words, those necessarily or fairly implied in or incident to the powers expressly granted, and those essential to the declared objects and purposes of the corporation, not simply convenient, but indispensable. Basically, if there's any doubt as to whether or not a local government has a certain power, then that alone is proof that the local government does not, in fact, have that power. Where that gets messy is oaths to defend the Constitution when laws are passed that go directly against it. And the counter-argument to the Dillon Rule is that, clearly, the people voting for sanctuaries don't have a voice at the state level, or else we'd be in a very different situation. Philip Van Cleve, president of the VCDL, says the resolutions will absolutely have teeth so long as sheriffs and prosecutors refuse to arrest and prosecute anyone breaking the new gun control laws. As of Christmas Eve, the VCDL puts the number of Second Amendment sanctuaries to 114, including a county that gave Hillary Clinton 61% of the vote in 2016. Unfortunately, despite the majority of landmass, these counties together still don't make up the majority of Virginia population. There are a lot of people living in Northern Virginia, and remember, Northern Virginia is smack dab next to DC. And, we know the kind of people that work in DC. And in a final update, a spokesman for Ralph Northam told the LA Times that the governor has absolutely no plans to call in the National Guard, though that's the only place I've seen it. Northam also stated that he is, quote, not looking for retaliation, so long as local law enforcement enforces the gun laws that he claims the people of Virginia want and need. He continues to claim that all of these laws would be constitutional, despite the fact that the assault weapons ban alone goes against the Heller decision. That's the case where the Supreme Court said you can't ban firearms that are in common use, and 1994's Staples v. United States plainly determined that semi-auto rifles are common. The NRA, meanwhile, continues to be silent, despite being headquartered in Virginia. That's it for today, guys. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, hit the notification bell, bookmark the channel, whatever you need to do to get updates and spread the message. If you'd like to help the channel in other ways, you can do so through various support options in the description, including Patreon, PayPal, and my website, on-site support, and merch store. Until next time, belated Merry Christmas, stay safe, and happy shooting.